You can entertain them if you want.
Okay, so if you want one, come try it. Because it sounds really good. Crunchy, chocolate, vanilla, you know.
It is good.
Know what you should do? You should figure out how to get it live.
I can go live another day. I know how to do that. All right.
There's Rocky. You said you was gonna package them?
Yes. Scissors. All right, we're back. Just cleaned up a little bit. Made it not as dirty. Took my gloves off because this is not a process that you're going to be able to do with gloves. Can you wash that for me, please? It's got stickiness all over it. So we, here at Savannah's Sweets, everything we make is by hand. We make our strawberry filling by hand. We make our strawberry topping by hand, our cake by hand, the icing by hand. Everything's by hand. And that extends to our labels as well. I was looking for an option to print labels commercially. It wasn't going well. It was really expensive per label. It was something like 50 or 75 cents per label. And if I did that, I would have to raise the prices by the equivalent amount, not even including shipping. Shipping was like $6 for 100 labels. It was just ridiculous. So I didn't want to have to raise the prices on these cakelets.
It's a little bit wet.
That's okay, it can dry. I didn't want to raise the prices on the cakelets. I wanted to keep it affordable for what you get. This is a pretty substantial amount of cake here. Our cakelets are $8, and I didn't want to increase the price to $8.75 or $8.50 or whatever the cost ended up being for the label. So I wanted to find a more inexpensive way of doing it. And I ended up making my own labels with just a regular printer and packing tape. They're working pretty well right now. Eventually I am going to get a label making machine, but that's obviously not going to be until after this takes off. So I'm going to take you along with me on packaging these real quick. So what I do is I have my labels already pre-done. They've already been pre-laminated with tape, and I literally just stick them on with tape. It's so simple, so quick and easy. Is it the most professional way of doing it? I mean, yeah, there's stickers you can buy that would be more professional, but this is working for right now. This is a small business, it's handmade, and this is a disposable package. So I'm really hoping that whoever gets this treat can see the love and the time that goes into this by knowing that the package and the label and everything is made by hand and by me. So I wanted to give a shout out to Angie. She is our very first customer. Yay. She ended up getting a strawberry vanilla cake that we made last night, and she's coming to pick it up at some point today. Not sure when, at some point today. But she was our very first customer, and I'm so excited. That's a milestone. We haven't even opened yet. We officially open on Tuesday. But I decided to go ahead and start doing the orders and everything now just to stay on top of things. And I feel like it's a better customer experience when people are able to place their orders, and instead of waiting, if you have the ability and the time to do it, just to get it to them immediately. This one's not quite long enough. What's up?
We need to put some because the crack is getting bigger and bigger.
That's not something I need to worry about right now. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and label these 3. Now I have an idea for a video, so it's not just package with me, talk about my life. Does anyone really want to hear about my life? Does anyone care what's going on here? I have an idea for a video where I read things that interest me. So it could be like tell you about a murder mystery book that I'm reading. read Am I the Asshole subreddit. You know, things that I'm actually on there a lot. Things that I find interesting or cool or just fun or drama or whatever. You know, I was thinking about doing these where you can pack with me, but I also do something interesting, something that's going to keep you entertained. It doesn't really matter what that is. It could be exercise with me. That's something that I find very important in my daily life, is making sure I'm getting my physical activity in. So would you like to have exercise with me videos, clean with me videos, decorate with me videos? Should this channel be only dedicated to the business, or should this be an all-around channel that also includes things happening with the business? I don't know yet. I have a lot of different interests.
And also, comment down in the comments.
Comment down below which one you like me to do. I will basically do whatever. So I'm not really sure. So I go back and forth on it. So I say so a lot. Again, I'm going to get better at this. I go back and forth on it a lot. Do I want to take the time to sink into doing these types of things? Take you on trips, vlogging, things like that. Do I want to take the time to do those types of things when nobody is seeing this? Do I want to take the time to do those types of things when the only people seeing this are my friends and family and people who are interested in me and who are invested in me out of love and not out of curiosity or fascination or interest or whatever it is that brought you to this channel? I think I do want to do it. I do want to do it. And I'm probably going to give it a try and see, and if it gets a good result, if it's something that is well liked, then, you know, I'll continue. But right now, I think that I'm going to be focusing on growing the business. Plug. Growing the business, growing my Facebook following, growing the TikTok. I'm really enjoying the TikToks. I find those very fun to do. Do you want to see videos about how I started this business? Do you want to see videos about what you need to start a small business or a small bakery? Do you want tips or tricks about marketing or analytics? Packaging, places to find packaging that is wholesale or cheaper. You know, just kind of let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what would interest you in this particular endeavor. Please don't touch that.
I'm just gonna take some wax. Mike, can I just take some wax?
No, you cannot touch the candle.
No, but this is wax.
No, you cannot touch the candle. We have a candle on, and he's trying to touch it. No. No, just no. Where did I put the towel?
Towel.
Look at my giant towel. Giant cleaning towel. All of my little towels are in the wash. In case you can't tell, this is also laundry day. So we get the giant beach towel instead. Oh Lord, let me grab some more gloves. What is it? What do you see? What is it? Is it a squirrel? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? What is it? What is happening? It's so cute. All right, go lay down. Shh, go lay down. What about kids' lunchbox videos? Are you guys interested in that? I'm interested in that. Hey, that's enough. I'm interested in that. I love watching. Sir, if you're barking at your reflection right now, there's nothing out there. There's nothing. All right, go lay down. Right here. Lay down. Lay down. Right there. Lay down. Shh. Enough. All right, kids lunch making videos. Enough. Thank you. I'm interested in them. One of the things I think I mentioned in an earlier video that is one of my hobbies is that I admin a kids lunch making Facebook group. It's just something that I really enjoy doing. I'm actually going to take my glove off for the frosting because the bag is really difficult to squeeze in an even manner because this frosting's a little bit thicker. I'm not sure if I showed you, but this is our pumpkin spice. Hey, enough. This is our pumpkin spice frosting. It's got a lot of really good flavor in it, but it makes the frosting a little bit thicker. So it's a little bit harder to actually frost. Not a big deal, but it's kind of hard when you have a glove on your hand. All right. So what I'm doing is just adding a little bit of the frosting to the sides. This isn't really something you're going to see in our packaging. Our packaging is higher walls, but I want to make sure, even if you don't see it or even if the customer doesn't appreciate it, I feel like it's always a good practice to make it look pretty from all sides, basically. You know, make it appealing to all sides. So what I'm doing now is spreading this out, which is a little bit, do you ever get it, whenever you're doing something, is it hard for you to talk and do things at the same time? I feel like it is for me. It's hard for me to talk and do things at the same time. Why is that? I don't know. Didn't put quite enough here. A little bit holes. Why is that? I don't know. Am I broken? Like, I don't know. So, I'm going to go ahead and smooth this out. After I get this, there's another hole. Man, who iced this thing? They left a lot of holes. After I get this smoothed out, I'm going to come in with my cake smoother, which is right here. Now, this is actually the back side of the cake smoother, but it's perfect for this. Like, it's just, I can't even talk whenever I am this excited about things. So, back to what I was saying, kids lunch making videos. That's a passion of mine. It's something that I do. It's feeding people, doing things for people. Acts of service is one of my love languages. It's not something that I personally enjoy receiving, but it's something that I enjoy doing just for the people that I love and care about. Okay. And one of the ways that I do that is by making my kids lunches at their schools. Now, there have been some years that they got free and reduced lunch, some years where they brought their lunch, like this year. It really just depends on what's happening in our lives at that moment. My youngest son is lactose intolerant, so regardless of whether we received free or reduced lunch or not, I always sent his lunch because there wasn't by very many, there were no accommodations for him for his lunches. Everything always had dairy in it. Then this year, my stepdaughter developed pretty severe allergies just out of the blue. She went from being a perfectly normal, healthy 13-year-old girl to going into anaphylactic shock pretty much every week to 2 weeks, sometimes every few days, for multiple months on end. We could not figure out what was going on. She was in and out of the hospital for months and months. There was talks of her failing her classes because she was out of school for so much. She stop breathing on multiple occasions. It was one of the worst times in our lives. We were terrified for her. My incredible boyfriend stayed at the hospital with her the entire time. Did not leave her side. It's a little bit lopsided, so I'm going to add some more on this side. Did not leave her side, even for a moment. It was a hard time for our family. Well, we ended up finding out that she has a disorder where her body makes histamines, way more histamines than she actually needs. And because of that, anytime she came across a natural allergen, she would immediately go and release the histamines, and her body would immediately go into anaphylaxis. Every single time. We were going through EpiPen after EpiPen after EpiPen, and just trying to keep her alive, because she would constantly go into anaphylaxis for anything. So her allergies were very mundane. She had a mild allergy to tomatoes, which is what set her off for her first anaphylaxis episode. Then that ended her being in the hospital for a few days. She had a severe allergy to dust mites. She's had severe allergies to dust mites her entire life. Never before been an issue. How do you protect a kid from dust mites? They're everywhere. Everywhere. Walk down the street, dust mites. In your house, dust mites. Like, how... It's impossible because it's in the air you breathe. My boyfriend installed a HEPA filtration that had the UV light that would help with the dust mite allergy, that would kill the active dust mites and then also help filter out the air. We got a bunch of different air filters and things for our home and the room to help to get rid of the dust mites, to help her, be able to live comfortably. We hired a cleaner to come in who would clean her room every week. I would go in and clean her room every week. We scrubbed the room top to bottom. Literally every single week we scrubbed the room. And nothing was really helping. She also had an allergy to oak flowers. Nothing was really helping. She would go to her grandma's house and come home with anaphylaxis. She would go to her mom's house, come home with anaphylaxis. It's like everything that we were doing, it was go to outside to the grocery store, go to the mall. It doesn't really matter what was happening. She was coming home with anaphylaxis every single time. We could not figure out what was going on. Well, after we found out that she made too many histamines, anytime she came in contact with any type of allergen, then she would immediately go into a huge reaction that would oftentimes end up with anaphylaxis. We were able to get her meds under control. She started taking shots, which will reduce her histamine levels, and then next month she's going to be able to start taking her allergy shots to help reduce her allergy levels. But that was a scary time. All that to say, she now cannot have school lunch either, because school lunch is something that has a lot of tomatoes in it. And again, even though she had a mild allergy to tomatoes, it was enough to send her into anaphylaxis the first time, and she cannot be anywhere near them now. That's both physical but also psychological. It gives her a lot of anxiety and fear. So I've been making her lunch, which is the first time I made her lunch. She was getting free and reduced lunch when she was in school, and then whenever she was home this past year for the online schooling because of the pandemic, they just ate lunch at home every day. It wasn't anything that we really thought about or whatever. I'm just going to add a couple more stars just to use up the last of this frosting. Okay. So this is her first year. Now my twins have been getting home lunches off and on their entire life. And this is something, I'm going to put a little piece of pumpkin pie on the top just to symbolize that this is a pumpkin spice cake. So this is something that I've been doing for a long time since the twins were in kindergarten, and they're in 5th grade now. I got pretty passionate about it. I have a lot of different ideas. I come up with the monthly lunch menu. I do the recipes every day. There are very few repeating recipes because I like to keep these interesting. Something I've learned is that for my kids, if I do the same thing over and over, they get bored and they won't eat it. I know for a lot of other kids, they want to have the same thing over and over. They want to have the same 2 or 3 things over and over. They have sensory issues. They have feeding issues. That's wonderful. That's not something that my children personally have, and it has made me figure out a bunch of different recipes that I wouldn't normally have thought of, or how to take things that I know that they like and make it miniature so it can fit into their lunchbox. So if that's something that you're interested in, or something that you would want to know about, if you want to come have a cook with me and I can give you tips and tricks, I do a major meal prep 1 day a week where I make the meats and the things that need to be made ahead of time. I make the breakfast for the week, things like that for the kids. It can give you some ideas for it'll give you ideas for how I run things, and maybe ideas that your family would be able to use. So let me know if that's something you're interested in. Look at this wax paper. I got this wax paper again for the kids' lunch. It looks like an old newspaper. Isn't that so cute? I just got it. I got it on Amazon. So I got this for the kids' lunch, and this is where I wrap their sandwiches or pitas or hamburgers or whatever I happen to send them that day in. So this is something also interesting. We have differing food allergies in my family. So I'm lactose intolerant. It's mild to moderate depending on what I actually eat. My son is super lactose intolerant. It's Alex. You know him. You better come give him some love right now. My son's super lactose intolerant. My stepdaughter, if I call her my daughter in future videos, it's no disrespect to her mother or anything like that. It's just how I view her in my life. She does live with us full time. So I don't like to differentiate the children by saying my stepdaughter, my sons. To me, they're all my children. I take care of them the same. I treat them the same. I love them the same. So if you hear me call her my daughter, that's no disrespect to her mother, no disrespect to birth parents or anything like that. It's just something that I'm used to saying and doing, and it rolls off the tongue. So apologies if there is any confusion there. So all of that being said, I forgot to do these. We have differing food allergies. I don't deal well with picky eaters, I'll tell you that. If I can find something that's going to be able to feed everybody in the home, because I'm also a vegetarian, I don't eat meat. My boyfriend is a avid meat lover. He and the kids all eat meat. We have 2 people who are lactose intolerant, 1 person who cannot have any tomatoes. He has issues with certain types of cuisine because he also has a disease that affects his gut and his intestines. So he has some food sensitivities that I have to be aware of, and that's a completely different story if you want to talk about picky eaters. So because of that, if I'm able to get something on the table that feeds everybody, you better eat it. I don't care if you like it or not, you better eat it. I do not tolerate picky eaters. If you don't want to eat it, that's fine. That's completely your prerogative, but I'm not making you anything else. That's just how I parent. But again, I try to be careful and sensitive of what the kids like and what they don't like. So again, if you want to follow me on that journey of figuring out how to feed my kids when they have differing food allergies and they have differing sensitivities, I also have a son with autism who has some sensitivities as well that we can talk about in a different video. If you want to have a discussion about being a special needs parent, I have a son with autism. I have a son with hearing loss. I'm also hearing impaired. I have hearing aids, but the ear mold broke, so I have to go get that repaired. I just haven't because it's not my main concern right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm working full time. I have 4 kids in school. I'm running a small business. It's not my main concern right now to take off work to be able to go and get new ear molds. Especially when I'm able to function okay without them right now. So this is what it looks like on the wax paper. I use the wax paper because it creates a moisture barrier in the box. So if this cake does end up touching the sides of the box, it won't sink through to the other side and create a lot of discoloration and things like that on the actual box. So there's a little bit of discoloration on here anyway already. Whatever. It also makes it really easy to move and transport. So I just put it in, crunch it up pretty, slide her on in there. Let me move this to make it even more pretty. There we go. There we have it. Our little thing. Alright. Then you just package it up. Going to add my label onto it, and that's going to be that. Again, I already had clean hands. That's just something that's really important to me, is making sure that your workspace is clean, your hands are clean, things like that. Whenever, especially when you're running a small business. So, all packaged up. I'm going to go ahead and put the label on top. There's the label. I'm going to grab my permanent marker. And I write the flavor in permanent marker on these particular boxes so I don't have to open them again. Alright, thank you guys for joining me on this long, drawn out pack with me and decorate with me. I feel like we did pretty good. We got a whole bunch of things done today. Alright, well thank you guys. Have a great day.